There we go.
Ooh,
we're all going to scream like Happy New Year, everybody, together.
We're already live, dude.
Happy New Year, everybody!
I know that.
we've had 2 weeks off, and we're refreshed and ready for the new year. So getting pretty excited to be able to start off the new year. About a week too late, but second week of the new year. So thank you, Nabil, for coming in and joining us tonight. You're taking time out of your day to hang out with us.
Yep. So thanks for having me.
Take it away, Con Man.
Yeah, so Nabil, I just wanted you to kind of introduce yourself, what role you play over at SORRCA and WRCCA, and then we can kind of get into the meat of things as far as rule changes this year and events and stuff.
Hi, I'm Nabil. I've been in the I think I started in this hobby in like 2007-ish, 2008, probably 2008. And then I was pretty active in the hobby from like 2008 to like 2014. And that's kind of, I was in San Diego at the time. That's kind of when I graduated college, and then I moved to the Bay Area. I kind of had to start a career and all that stuff. So I took kind of 5 years off from like 2014 to 2019. 2019, I came back. Now I'm heavily involved in I'm on the WRCCA board. I am the chairman of the SORRCA board. I host multiple events per year, all while trying to compete at a top level also. So that's my story.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I don't even know if there are a lot of people in here might not even know a lot about WRCCA, but WRCCA is kind of like the more OG cars, like MOAs and sporties, those style of comp cars, and it's definitely gotten a lot smaller over the years, but I mean they're still got a bunch. They still do nationals and worlds, and Nabil hosts Arizona Summer Shootout and a bunch of other events like that. So it's all like MOA comps and the performance scale, which is kind of like a more simplified SORRCA class. Just kind of like a little bit less rules, more to the performance side instead of the scale side. And yeah, those are just WRCCA comps are just awesome. But yeah, so SORRCA, yeah, Nabil recently took over as the chairman for SORRCA. So we're just brought him on to kind of talk about what events they got planned this year as far as some of the SORRCA events, the bigger events, and talk about some of the SORRCA rule changes this year, because Nabil's been over there making some good changes and stuff and over at SORRCA. So yeah, I guess we can go into the rules and kind of talk about some of the newer rule changes, the bigger rule change.
1 second. Do we have a giveaway tonight?
Oh yeah, we
got a giveaway. And I don't know if it is after Christmas. I mean, do we have stuff that people want to show off to? I don't know if you guys do or not. So, but tonight's giveaway is a Rum Runner shirt.
Nice.
Oh, that reminds me.
Rum Runner t-shirt.
Cool. So yeah, Nabil, normally we'll do like announce like whatever we're giving away at the beginning, and then usually the last 10 minutes of the stream we'll pick somebody from the comments and ship them out, whatever we're giving away. So
exciting.
Yeah, and then normally we do mail call. I don't know if you got any new RC stuff in the mail this week, any new parts or anything.
I just looked over here. Here. This is my project pile. I have to move the computer. Are you ready?
Oh, Lord.
Nice.
We have to zoom in on that. What you got cooking over there?
Hold on a minute. There you go.
Oh, are those the Deluxe XR10 axles?
So Deluxe XR10 axles that I had done in black, then double front VP XRs, and then a standard set of VP XRs.
Good Lord.
Wow.
That's been my project earlier this week, and then I've been cutting, like when you ask mail call, like hold on, I gotta see if there's anything in the box that can't be shown. Yeah, let me throw this out.
He just busted open the treasure chest right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
so like this is my mail pile.
holy crap.
Good
Yeah.
night.
You're making us look like kids play over here.
Yeah. I just had to throw one thing out of the pile. So,
Yeah.
we have that Borderlines hosting that 2-day. Borderline Crawlers is hosting that 2-day comp at Cougar Buttes this weekend. So I've been kind of getting prepped for that.
I know. I was planning on trying to make it to that because I got a work trip coming up and it was supposed to be next week. So I was going to come down and trying to hit that on the way down, but then they pushed it out a week. So now, now I'm screwed.
So what class is that? So that's this weekend at Cougar Buttes?
Yeah, it's pro and shafty. So pre-COVID, when I say pre-COVID, I mean like couple months before COVID. So like I announced this event that I wanted to do in 2020, basically, long story short. And my format for the event is I wanted to use 3 different spots in the high desert and pro only, each day different spot. You'd have a winner each day, and then the overall winner would be cumulative over, 15 courses or something like that over the 3 days.
Okay.
So, but that's the spots I wanted to use. I wanted to use Cougar Buttes. I wanted to use this place we called The Spot. And then I wanted to use, I can't remember the third one, but it was basically Cougar Buttes was like high grip bouldery. Then I had like more flowing high grip. And then I had low grip bouldery. So I had like 3 different types of terrain that I had like lined up for it. So it's kind of, to win the event, you had to be able to adapt and kind of, it's about keeping the truck together for the whole weekend, keeping, being able to drive different types of things, because everyone I think is better at something than they are at other things. I think me personally, I'm better at bouldery rocks than natural rock. Some people are way better at natural rock than bouldery rock. And it's just it's about kind of finding a balance to where you're decent at everything. So
yeah. Oh, that's great.
I thought by upping the courses, upping the terrain, it's like the best way to eliminate any luck out of the equation. And luck's always the thing that kind of comes into play. Like regardless, it's luck of falling, landing on your wheels, pointing left instead of pointing right can be the difference between winning or losing. And you still got lucky in the sense you landed on your wheels. But just the direction you're pointing is the difference between first and second sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah, dragging it out. Kind of my thought was it eliminates those things by having more.
I'm not sure if a lot of people in our audience know you as a driver, but not only do you run lots of these events and now are part of the SORRCA rules and so on, but you're also an amazing driver too.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah. So I mean,
no, you don't.
I try sometimes.
Just sits down and whoops on everybody, and we're all just like, "Well, me won again."
Yeah, sits on one rock in the middle of the course and just whoops everybody from the middle of the course.
I think I've only done that like once or twice.
I knew you weren't going to come out and say that, so I thought I'd go ahead and bring it up. So.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Dave said, how do you qualify to compete as pro? Pro is just a class. It's not like saying that those people are pros or anything, especially because I compete in it. So it's definitely not pro by any means. It's just the name of the class. So it's just
pro. So like pro and shafty. So like pro, in other words, is MOA, and shafty is the sporty class.
So this is the shafty.
There you go. That's a sporty.
Yeah. So single transmission, single motor, drive shafts. Right.
There you go.
Yeah. So you can see that's basically a shafty. And then a pro truck is.
I need to build me one of those.
Yeah.
This would be a pro truck. So motor on axle. Yeah. There's absolutely nothing in the chassis.
Yep.
And then everything on this truck goes on the front axle. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't even see your receiver inside the chassis.
the receiver's here. It's hidden underneath the servo.
Oh wow,
Oh wow.
Hey.
that's sick.
The receiver's there. Speed controls are there behind the right there.
Yeah.
And then so everything's
Pretty much like zero unsprung weight.
zero sprung weight.
Or sorry, my bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, zero sprung weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that truck's so light in the chassis, there's actually tungsten on the skid to add a little bit of sprung weight because it didn't have enough weight to like get the shocks to work.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
But yeah,
The Paris 9591. Click on that one, Judge.
Slow down. I'm trying to copy it.
Tim knows how to get a hold of me.
Yeah, I was gonna say Nabil doesn't hide anything. I can't tell you how many times setting up my MOA I've hit up Nabil and be like, "Hey, how would you set this up?" He don't hide anything
Yeah.
because he'll still go out there and beat you regardless if you set it up identical to his car or not. So it don't matter.
Yeah.
Dave, those aren't SORRCA. Those are pro and shafty class trucks. We're gonna get to the SORRCA here in a minute.
Yeah, so those are WRCCA.
Yeah.
Cool.
SORRCA's scale trucks. So
Yeah, it's funny how it's a lot of people just do one or the other. They'll either do, the sporty or an MOA, or they're over here in, a SORRCA set of rules, class 2, class 3, type 1, or class 1 type thing. And then, we got the other group of guys that are sort of where I'd fall into mostly right now is where I like the class 1, 2, and 3 rules. They're a little bit looser, that a little more relaxed type of thing.
yeah, I went to like a month ago. I went to Travis's San Diego comp that runs like the same Golden State rules that you guys run.
Mhm.
Just to kind of experience it because I wanted to like it. For me, I think that comes part of the SORRCA thing is like I need to understand it. Like the same thing. Like I know Connor, you were there when I went to the Utah comp.
Mm-hmm.
But it's learning what other people are doing and kind of seeing what works in different places is very beneficial to making anything successful in a way. Right? It's you gotta kind of you gotta understand what the masses want. And I think that's always been like a problem for me in a way because it's the way I look at things is from a lot different like viewpoint than I think you're even middle of the road driver. Kind of, it's like for me, it's like I could care less about a lot of like at an event, right? Like I'll use this as an example. Like a lot of people go, they like having a raffle, they like having kind of the atmosphere, they like all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And for me, those are things that are like at the very bottom of my list of things that I like. So I have to change my mindset in a way to like learn how other people enjoy the hobby because how I enjoy the hobby is not necessarily the same as everyone else. So in order to grow the hobby, you kind of have to learn what the people are enjoying of it. Yeah. So I think that's kind of it's a hard thing for a lot of people. It's a hard thing for me even to like, I can be very stubborn and stuck in my ways about things, but you have to kind of figure it out, and then figuring it out is kind of what makes things work. It has to work for everyone, not just someone.
Yeah.
I'm sort of excited right now with what the hobby seems to be doing in that, you've got the Golden State comps, you've got the very similar classes that you'd find like in Utah with the North versus South, and then now the San Diego guys. I like what's going on there because it's bringing in new people. It's bringing in people that might be intimidated by going to full-blown SORRCA rules. And it gives them a place to come out, play start to get educated, start to learn, the basics, and get used to racing against the clock and going through gates. But then it gives them an opportunity then, and they can, if they so choose, they can take the knowledge and the things they learned there, then they can take it to SORRCA, build a truck that's SORRCA rules, and not come in just totally blind and without experience, which can be pretty intimidating. So I think watching the hobby grow and having a progression of rules that people can do, and then going ultimately to pro type classes. And then once you're there, you can jump back and forth and play anywhere you want to play on any given week, any given weekend. I think it's a positive and really good thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's having like a stepping stones to like progress.
There you go.
Is definitely beneficial. Like I know when I started, there was no stepping stones, but I saw, I'd say 80% of people, like at the time I started, would come in and leave the hobby. So I think we're retaining more people, but we're retaining people in the hobby. We're not converting them to competing yet, really, but the people are being retained. So that's good for the hobby as a whole. It's good for you guys as a business. It's good for, and being good for you guys as a business then in turn is good for the competition side, because a business doing well from people being retained will then start to develop parts that can then be adapted to, the competition side. And then the competition guys also benefit from it. So the retaining of people definitely is beneficial for everyone. And how to get them competing is the question always, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things you mentioned is like the easier rule set, and it's something we're exploring in SORRCA as like entry level classes for everything. So we are trying to do that, and it's I'll just say it straight up. I don't know how to say it any other way. The downside of having everyone on different rule sets is there's no standard to compare, right?
Correct.
So like with SORRCA, we have our rule set that like the one we released 5 days ago now. And that is what we want as the national standard, right? So when there's a scale nationals, that's going to be the rule set that's ran there. With that being said, we don't mind, and we encourage people to modify the rules as they see fit locally, right? And if they can do that, just like, for example, like scale points for a class 2 truck is 40 points max, right? If locally it makes more sense to have a 10-point max for scale points, and then you at least run the same course penalties as SORRCA, that in turn better prepares people to progress and move up, right? Even if you don't adopt the full rule set, at least just adopting the scoring standards gives you the first foot in the door, right? And then as you go from there, you can then, get stricter and stricter with the rules following, and work your way into like what would be a full-blown national rule set. But that's not something that's needed right away. So that's like just something I felt that I should say in that, because it's obviously it benefits SORRCA if everyone runs it, but I think it benefits people as a whole more than it even benefits SORRCA, because everyone competing to the same standard is better for the hobby in that way, because we have a more direct comparison of, you can see, I've seen it happen in other groups where they run their own rule set, and then, they get a big national level event, in their backyard or something, and they all try to come, and they get so frustrated because everything they've done competing wise up to that point doesn't translate into what they're trying to do at the current point. So then it becomes it's very hard. And even for me, like adapting to the Golden State rules or the Utah rules, right, is very difficult for me, because I know how I'm supposed to drive, like, management wise for the national standard of rule sets being WRCCA or SORRCA. But when you change that standard, then it becomes like it's a whole new learning process. So, eliminating these big learning steps each time, I think, is better as a whole. But it's not something that's going to happen overnight or, anything like that. It's just something that I would like to work towards. And that's kind of why us as SORRCA, we're trying to do a simplified version for it. That's a simpler, like a stepping stone class. So that way people can, progress through these steps easier.
Yeah, that makes sense. We have 2 comments in here, or 2 questions in here I want to get to. Organized Chaos said, when and how did SORRCA become the standard?
I think SORRCA became the standard because, first to market, I think. So SORRCA has been a thing for over 10 years now. Right. So, and then there's no national level events being held with a different rule set. So, granted, there hasn't been a scale nationals in 3 years now, which I hope changes this year. I'm still working on it, but it's a little leak that's if it's going to come out, it's going to come out within the next couple of weeks anyways, hopefully. So,
okay.
But I'm still working on that. It's just basically, WRC, I can use another one as a way to explain it. So WRCCA is the standard on the comp side because WRCCA used to be USRCCA, and then it grew into World RC Crawling, So it became adopted as a standard, but it was just the United States rule set at first. SORRCA was always intended to be a national or a worldwide scale rule set, and it was accepted as that for a long time. And just recently have we seen other rule sets come, and I think that's more due to the failings in SORRCA that have happened. But we're hoping to turn it around, and we still think, or I still hope at least, that there's enough of a following that we can bring SORRCA back to the popularity that it did have before. So you got to right the ship, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
Pirate reference for you guys.
I'll drink to that.
Dave Wick said SORRCA scoring has seemed complicated. Is it the same or becoming simpler? I think he's referring to like the newer rules for this year.
So the scoring, I think the only complicated part of the scoring is the scale point side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But part of the release this year is a separate rulebook just for scale points that kind of makes it easier to reference the materials. Mm-hmm. Right. As far as course scoring, it's standard course scoring. It's like the exact same as WRCCA even. So everyone runs the same scoring. Especially now that we changed bonuses to 10 instead of 5. The only difference in SORRCA is there's a winch penalty. So it's 1 point for a reverse, 5 points for a rollover, 5 points for a winch. Then 10-point penalties are gate, reposition, repair, and then boundary. So everything's kind of simple-ish math. It's just you have a 60-point maximum. That's the only thing that's kind of hard to keep track of. And I think that's more I think designing score sheets properly makes it easier for the judge to keep track of where you are on the maximum. Mm-hmm. So like how I like to provide score sheets for events that I do is if it's like a 60-point max, there'll be 60 check boxes. So if it's a 10-point penalty, you just cross out a group of 10. If there's a 1-point penalty, you just do one box. And when there's no more spaces, they've hit their maximum. You don't have to keep track of the math. And I think that might be the hard part for people.
Yeah, Yeah, I admittedly have always struggled with understanding the scale points. So if you have a 60 point where you max out, where I guess you might as well not finish the run now because you've already maxed out at 60, if I understand it right.
No, so scale points are taken off your score at the end.
Correct.
Of it. So
right.
60 is your max penalties, right?
But,
so you
but
start at,
can you take the 40 off the 60?
so you'll start at 0, right? And
Yes.
then any penalty that you incur will add to your score. So
Correct.
you start at 0, say you hit a gate, you roll over, and you have 2 reverses. So then you have 17 penalties, 10, 5, and then 2.
Correct.
So then your score there, if it's a 10-gate course, you'll get 20 points taken off your score for completing the course. So that puts you at -3 already. So because you have 17 penalties, you'll take the 20 for completing the course because you get 2 per gate that you get through, -2 per gate. And then you will end up getting your scale points, half of your scale points taken off your score also. So if it's a 10-gate course and you have 17 penalties, you'll take 20 off. So that puts you at -3. And then if you have a 50-point truck, which would be class 1 truck maxed out, you'll take another 25. So you'll be at a -28 will be your score.
Okay. So let's say you run the course and you hit your max of 60 points.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to keep going because knowing that your skill points are going to come off in the end? How does that work?
No, your run's done when you hit the max.
Got it. That's what I wanted to know. Okay.
Yeah. So when you hit your maximum penalties, your run's done. And then you'll still get your progress points taken off. So
okay. So your skill points can't save you there.
Your scale points will come off your score also, but they'll come off after. So it's still you don't get to like bank the scale points and letting you go more. It's done at the end of the run.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
So yeah, it's not like it's added to your score, because the problem with adding it to your score at the beginning is then the judge would need to be informed of what your thing is every
Correct.
single
It'd make the judging very difficult.
Yeah, you would have to go, okay, this person has 78 points maximum. This point has this person, you know what I mean? So just keeping it as a standard makes the most sense, and it makes the day go faster.
Gotcha. Okay.
That makes sense. Organized Chaos, he was the one that asked the question about when and how this SORRCA became the standard for the whole industry. I guess he said that kind of answered his question, but he said he was referring more to his question referred more towards the outline of the vehicle specs and the rule set of like how the cars need to be built, and not how the scoring and stuff goes.
Well, as far as the vehicle specs, it's what I was saying earlier. If you're gonna compete, there has to be an agreed upon rule set to compete on, right? And I think we lost Christian, I think. Yeah, so there has to be like an agreed upon thing, right? If you let everyone build whatever they want, right? You're going to have someone come with a 10-inch wheelbase truck, someone come with a 15-inch wheelbase truck, and it's impossible to build a course that's enjoyable for everyone. So by having a standard that's just agreed upon, right? It's like I'm not forcing anyone to, there's no one being forced to use it, but we're putting it out there as what I personally believe. I think it's the best current option for scale. It's not to say that there isn't room for improvements on it also. I think there is. But if you're not looking to improve something, I think you're failing, right? But the thing is we need to have, people need to kind of, I don't know how to say what I want to say. This is weird. So it's just, there needs to be an agreed upon thing, right? So like we agreed upon that we'll call trucks that have a tire below 4.2 inches a class 1 truck, right? And if you want to build a class 1 truck, we would like it to look like this, right? So now if everyone builds the truck in that same way, right, we now have an even playing field to measure the driving. Because the competition isn't necessarily about the truck. It's about the driver. It's, if it was about the truck, we can just do a show and shine in the parking lot and be done with it. So the driving aspect is ultimately the most important aspect. So there needs to be some standardization there in order to kind of level the playing field, so to say, where everyone is on similar equipment. Because if I build a course, let's say if I build a course for a truck with a 4.75 tire and no rear steer, right? And just say, okay, whoever wants to run it runs it, right? The people that come with a 4.2 inch tall tire are going to be very upset when the person comes with a 15-inch wheelbase truck and 2.2s and a 5.5 inch tire with rear steer, and just makes it look easy. So by standardizing it, it also standardizes things like gate width, just the general expectation of what the truck is capable of in that class. So the course becomes standardized also, because there's no pre-running these courses. It's, you get one shot at it, one attempt basically. And you don't get to practice, come back, run the same thing again. It's one and done and you're out of the door basically. So just leaving it open to, okay, here's one class and run whatever you want doesn't work, because some days one thing's going to have a huge advantage compared to other things, and it's not actually comparing the drivers anymore. It's just whoever got lucky and they brought the right truck for that course.
Yeah, right.
So,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's dip into the rules for SORRCA for this season, as far as obviously class 1, 2, 3 go. What would you say? What are like the big changes that you guys made this year? I guess just for now, just off of build wise, not scoring wise or anything, just build wise for SORRCA.
Build wise, there was two very unpopular things with SORRCA, and one of them was there since the beginning, and that's tire bands. So tires, for a long time, SORRCA would just basically decide internally if a tire was scale appearing or not. And if it wasn't, it was basically not allowed to be ran. Right? Then maybe 2 years ago, we tried to establish a criteria, right? So we talked with manufacturers, we talked with other people, and it became obvious that, just picking and choosing what looks scale and what doesn't work, right? So we tried to establish criteria. So then there's like a predefined, this is what a legal tire will look like. And the thing we tried to eliminate there was like open lugs. So similar to like rupture, right? I think that's the most popular open lug tire. So where the actual tread block itself is hollow in the middle, and pin tires. Because if you look at like a dot legal tire, right, that you would see on a real truck, none of them have open lugs, none of them look like a pin.
Mm-hmm.
But that also proved to be very unpopular, right? And this year we just kind of came in with the mentality that we're gonna. It was unpopular, and it was, before I go any further, it was unpopular, and I think it was unpopular even with a lot of people on the committee or on the board. And it's just it was unnecessary restrictions, is kind of a lot of us felt, right? But I think all of us had kind of a trying to stick to tradition mindset, right? Mm-hmm. Where this is how it's always been, so we should kind of keep it, but I think we got to the point where it's just, we're realizing that it was now tires have gotten so good that like a tusk is just as good as a rupture, if not better, right? There's so many tires that just work well that look scale, and there's so many tires that don't look scale that don't work well. So it funnels into, 2 or 3 options that end up working anyway. So there's no point in limiting people's choice and creativity if they want to build, right? So that was the first thing that went. The second thing that was a big change would be the shock hoop coverage. And shock hoop coverage was introduced in 2023, right, with the new rules with the rectangle and everything. And the rectangle just serves as like a minimum, right? So as long as your truck is bigger than that minimum, right, those minimum dimensions in the rectangle, you have no issues. So it just has to be bigger than what those dimensions are. And part of it was that you couldn't have exposed shock hoops in class 1, right? So like in the rear, like if you had a drop bed and you had the shock hoops come through the bed, you couldn't have the shock hoops being exposed. And then in class 2, you could theoretically have exposed shock hoops in the rear. But if you wanted drop bed points or if you wanted hard body points, you couldn't have the holes, right? And those are for scale points. So they also had to be covered. And then class 3, basically they're all kind of just, there was this, an exemption to this, blah, 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 right? The easier way was just to go back to how it was pre-2023, right? You're allowed to have the shock hoops come through the bed. If it looks excessive that you're cutting holes for weight reduction or they're just way oversized, it might become an issue. But as long as it's like a reasonable cut, right, you're legal to have exposed shock hoops. And I think how I worded it in like the post where I kind of introduced the change was that if you can kind of exploit the rule with, a piece of a trash bag, which, many people were doing, where they would just take, some black trash bag and put it over the back of the thing and call it a tarp to cover the shock hoops. Like the rule doesn't stand kind of because it's unnecessary. So it didn't need to be there anymore. So I think those are the two biggest truck ones. Slightly smaller changes. There's 2 changes in class 1. One of them is there's actual words that say a grill is required, right, for class 1. Before, I don't think we ran into the problem because I think people had it ingrained in their brain from previous rules, but at some point it like left the rules and we missed it, right? Or it got missed. So, last year's rules at least didn't actually specifically state that you need to have a grill in class 1, right? And then there's bodies like the Tamiya F350, for example. If anyone knows what a Ford Super Duty looks like in the front, the grill is like very pronounced, like in the center of the truck, and then like the headlights kind of slope backwards, right? The part of the rules for body coverage was that you can't have daylight visible from the top, and then you have to have a bumper that's in front of the tires for class 1. So with something like the Ford, what that left was like a gap between the bumper and the headlight. And in order to be legal, you had to fill that gap. And it was just annoying, kind of. Right. It's like, there's the other option is you center the front tire in the wheel well of the Ford body, but no one's going to do that because they want the competitive advantage of having the tire as close to the front, as close to a 90-degree approach angle as they can get. So everyone's pushing the body back in relation to the front axle. And then you end up with the bumper basically in line with the grill. And then you have a big gap between the headlights and the bumper. And then that needs to be filled somehow. So it was just it was hard work for people, hard work for someone trying to learn and enjoy the class as a whole. They now had to figure out how to do, complicated, either styrene work or metal fab or something like that. They couldn't just buy the body from Tamiya, buy like a TGH modular bumper and then stick it together and have it work. Something had to be custom fabricated to fill those gaps, and that made it hard for people. Other than that, I think those are like the main truck changes. I have to look at my
I didn't realize you guys just released the new rule set just a few days ago. So I need to. Oh, where would we find those? Where if people here wanted to see the new rule set, where would they go?
The SORRCA Facebook group.
Okay, and
So
they
it's just, yeah,
they can download it there and print it, kind of a thing.
yeah. I have a Google Drive too set up for everything. I don't know. I can pull up the link here.
Oh, okay, that'd be great. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm sure
I'll
people
put it-
love to be able to get them, look at them, and go from there.
Yeah,
Nice.
if you can, Nabil, you could send us the link to that drive afterwards if possible, and we'll put it in the description of this video. So if people need to go back and reference this video, they can go check out the rule set.
Yeah, I'm trying to log into the account that has the thing.
Yeah, I like the direction you're going with the tires. I mean, I can see as a manufacturer, if you are getting ready to produce a new tire, it would really stink to be able to, come out with something, invest a bunch of money into it, and then somebody says, well, the tread pattern doesn't look the way we think it should within the SORRCA powers to be, and then not be able to, it gets blackballed by SORRCA, and it would really suck as a manufacturer to have to call SORRCA up and try to talk to somebody before developing a tire and say, okay, if I do this, would you guys like it? If I did that, would you guys like it? So I like where you're going, where, if I understand it right, as long as it fits the right dimensions, the tread pattern is not going to be critiqued to the point where you'll get blackballed.
Exactly. So it's just
I think that's awesome.
yeah. I'll share the link with you guys later.
But the pin tires are still illegal, correct?
Yeah. Pins, like we refer to them as like a pin, block, or bar, right? Just to kind of cover bases. Because it's like, a pin could be considered something like a carpet tire for like a 10 scale buggy,
Right,
where they're actually, you know what I mean? Like pin shaped, right?
I can see that. That makes sense.
Yeah. So just to, be clear in the wording, we use block or bar also. So like a bar would be like the voodoo kind of, where it's, a rectangle.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just trying to use words that are kind of established in like racing. Like J Concepts has that barcode tire, which is like a very popular racing tire. So trying to use those kind of words to.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you, Nabil. I was laughing at Dave Wick's comment.
What did I miss?
I don't know if Nabil can see the comments. He might not have. If there's a tab on your right, Nabil, it says private chat and comments and stuff. If you click on comments, you can see the YouTube comments.
Yeah, I can. No.
Yeah, he's referring to this is my class 1.
Yeah, our class 1s aren't very class 1 right now.
Yeah, I've seen your Porsches.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's my class 1 right now.
Yeah.
At Golden
I've seen
State
the
College.
Porsches.
So, yeah. But boy, do these things get down. Oh my gosh, they're so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Side note, have you came up with a date for pre-registration for the Arizona shootout this year?
I'm targeting end of January, but it's not official yet.
Okay.
I'll talk with Aaron on Friday.
Okay.
And then we'll come. I just finalized title sponsor for it last week.
Okay.
Cool.
But rules with both WRCCA and SORRCA basically taken up my entire life since November, since beginning of November. So
yeah. I just don't want to have a repeat of last year where I got on the waiting list because I forgot to register. So
yeah, it's gonna be like end of January is what the goal is. I haven't looked at like
dude, it sold out so fast last year. Dude, it was like freaking. I remember I was like ready and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get these tickets. And then like my wife's like, oh, let's go run over here. And I was like, all right, cool, but I'm gonna be on my phone. And then I got sidetracked and like it was like 5 minutes after they went live, Logan called me. He's like, did you get your tickets? And I was like, oh crap. And dude, I bought my tickets and like a minute later they were gone. I was like, dude.
I think it was 6 minutes last year to sell out.
Yeah.
Wow. Can I put my
Crazy.
deposit in now?
Yeah.
You need to get a freaking sporty and an MOA first, dude. You ain't got either one.
You know what? If I go, I'll build a sporty real quick and just run sporty. I'm not really an MOA person, but
That's what you think until you compete in MOA, and then you're like, damn, this.
well,
is
maybe
the
I'd
best
drive one of your
company.
guys' trucks if I did. But main thing is I would just love to go and hang out with everybody and run sporty, just relax and just have a great time hanging out with everybody.
It's a real nice place. Like, it's probably one of the nicest places in the country to have an RC event.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're just outside of like town, like you're 10 minutes from the hotel. You kind of have everything you can want. You have like the old downtown area, like if you're like into like, you know, the more rustic vibes, or you can kind of go the other direction, and then you can get into like Prescott Valley, which is much more modern and has kind of your McDonald's and everything else you would want there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it's like a big park. There's bathrooms, showers. There's disc golf if you want to play disc golf while you're waiting. There's campgrounds. There's everything there you can want. And then, yeah, I think it's one of the nicest places. The exciting part with it is it's now officially, the Summer Shootout's now officially recognized as an event by the city of Prescott.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's an official, like it's on the city calendar. Like a
Wow.
That's cool.
Great.
yeah. So
That's sick.
I think it's taken 15 years to get it there, but it's there now. So
Dave Wick said, "What's the event day?" The event, it's April 24th to the 26th this year.
yeah,
And if you guys are looking to dip your toes into the sporty scene or the pro scene, and you're on the West Coast somewhere, it's definitely worth the drive out, because even if you don't come out and compete, you just come to check it out. It's my favorite event of the year. A Pro Line by the Fire is awesome, but I don't know. I really love the Arizona Shootout. It's just the driving is just such a good time. And then if you guys come out and check it out, even if you don't compete, it's literally, if you look up Watson Lake, Arizona on Google, it's literally like Horseman's Park, but around a whole freaking lake. Like, it's just endless, super grippy rock crawling. So even if you don't come out and compete, it's worth just to come out and hang out for the weekend, bring your crawlers and crawl and just hang out with everybody. You guys should definitely check it out.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna
it's,
do everything I can to get there this year.
it's an exciting event. It's this one. So we need to get through this. I have like a full schedule this year. I just got like a impending sense of doom like come over me. I'm trying to think of all the events that I have to figure out for this year.
That actually leads us good. Is there anything you could talk about with any major SORRCA events this year?
So Scale Nationals I'm working on currently. It's both Scale Nationals for SORRCA and WRCCA Nationals.
Ooh.
Got slowed down by the government shutdown like a couple months ago, right? Because you need to get permits through parks departments and stuff like that. So WRCCA Nationals, it's targeting mid to late September in the Reno area, right? But nothing confirmed on that one yet. And SORRCA is targeting late July in Connor's backyard.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
This is a good year for the West Coast boys.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
I gotta get on the phone with Iron County, maybe maybe this week. Probably not till next week, because I feel like I'm so far behind for this thing on Saturday.
And
But,
that's such a. Huh?
I'd love to run those events, but reality is I do not have a truck that I could run in those events. So I'd have
you
to
gotta start
build.
building.
What's that?
You got to start building.
Well, I got to start building, and I'm gonna have to invite someone like Scott Dunlap over to help me build a truck that would get the points I would need, because I wouldn't have a clue how to make a truck get the scale points, and yeah, I've tried before, and I pulled my hair out and ran away screaming.
I'm sure Scott will come over right now if you ask him to.
All right, there you go.
I see him in the comments talking.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm sure he would love to. Yeah, yeah. Since it's going to be so close this year for nationals, I'll definitely have to at least build either a class 2 or a class 3 truck for this year and get up there, at least run one class. So
Scott says yes 3 times.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure Scott will rush over.
he's already running.
Drive down the hill.
That'll be cool. Yeah, it's gonna be a good year for comping with the Arizona Shootout and Scale Nationals and WRCCA Nationals all on the West Coast. This will be a cool year.
Yeah, Scale Nationals. I'm still not 100% confident on it that I can make happen, but I'm gonna try my hardest to get it to happen because it needs to make a comeback. There needs to be the events before Scale Nationals for people on the East Coast. There'll be the spring shootout hosted by Key City Hobbies, Super Shafty, AJ Condon.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll be hosting in Pennsylvania. I think that's like beginning of April. And he also does an event in late September, early October in Maryland. Right. So those two big East Coast ones. ECC will have Scale and WRCCA at the same event. Same with AJ's events. They'll have both SORRCA and WRCCA classes. So if you run them all with someone like me, that means I have to travel with 7 trucks, which I usually don't do. I did it one time, and it was the longest weekend of my life. So I've never done it again. So,
Shoot.
yeah, I did it. I think I did it in 2021 ECC. I ran every class but mini. So, yeah,
Jeez.
it was a long
Okay.
weekend. Yeah, I think my worst finish was a 3rd. So
There you go.
Sounds like it's worth the trip then.
yeah, Dan's got the actual dates. So mid-April for spring shootout, and yeah.
Okay, see it. Yeah, so that's right before the Arizona Summer Shootout.
Yeah, and then then there'll be ECC will be like May, and then hopefully Scale Nationals comes together for July. Yeah, I think those are the big ones that are in my head for the year.
Sick.
Us West Coast boys, I mean, we really do have it made because we got Golden State Comp Series is just getting ready to start here in Southern California, so that's going to be great. Plus what SORRCA's doing, and I think the San Diego boys got their thing going on. And I'm sure North versus South is going to fire theirs up again here probably pretty soon too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff going on.
Yeah. I'll probably try to make at least one of the Golden State comps this year. It just depends on their scheduling.
Please don't.
I'm terrible. Like the thing for me is I'm terrible at looking at Instagram for any information. But I have every notification turned off on Instagram. Like it's kind of don't contact me ever on Instagram. So yeah, I am like absolutely terrible at looking at Instagram. So it's, if anyone ever sends me a friend request on Instagram and it takes me 2 months to accept it, that's why. That's the first time I've opened it since.
Yeah. We struggle with that too with social media. I mean, we wish we could get to everybody and answer everyone's questions on social media, but it's too big of a blanket to cover. So we always just tell people, just email us. We check email every day, and we'll take care of you. But trying to find everybody's questions on social media, it's impossible. And keeping up with it.
Yeah, especially with full-time job. Christian's got a full-time job. I have a full-time job.
Yeah.
Rock Pirates is my dad's full-time job. I know, Nabil, you got a full-time job and you juggle everything else along with that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a lot. Just and kind of, I saw Dave Wick asked if RC was my full-time gig. It is not, Dave. It is me trying to volunteer as much of my extra time as I can to make it better for people, right? And I saw a comment earlier that SORRCA likes to play God, and I don't think that's a true statement. It's all of us that are involved in SORRCA now, right? So there's 13 of us. All of us have a full-time job. All of us volunteer our time to try and better the hobby. We're trying to, there's, it's people, you're kind of, it's doomed if you do, doomed if you don't. I was trying to say it without swearing. So it took me a second to get there. Right? So it's, even taking the tire ban out, for example, like I legitimately had someone threaten me in a direct message, right, over removing the tire ban because now SORRCA is killing scale.
Oh
right?
my gosh.
So like it's comical because it's no matter what you do, someone's going to be upset about it, right? And it's not about playing God. It's not about controlling it. It's all of us that are on the board. We all compete with these cars, right? We have our discussions about what do we think, would. It's one thing I do is I look at the rules and I'm very good at breaking the rules. Like there's multiple rules in the WRCCA rulebook that, might seem nonsensical, but those are things that I broke when I was in my 20s. And that's why they had to add these words. Right. And now that I've gotten older, I have the opposite mindset. It's, I'd rather do well without pushing the rules. Like I'd rather have the most cookie cutter to the rule book truck you can imagine and still do good with it. Like I don't feel the need to find an advantage for a competitive advantage. But it's the same thing Connor said earlier. Like I will tell anyone like my exact truck setup. It's because I want to see everyone else do good. Right. And I think we're finally at a point with the SORRCA board, the WRCCA board, with kind of everything in the hobby where it's aligned in the right way to progress. And I just said that most recent comment, but yeah. Oh my God. We're aligned in a way where we're trying to progress the competition side of it. Right? It's the people going out trailing and stuff. We shouldn't have any impact on anything they do. Right. We shouldn't have any impact on anyone from having fun. Right. But if you want to have an event that figures out who the best driver in the country is or who the best driver in the world is, right, you need to have a standard, right? And it's about finding compromise in what, where's performance, where's realism, where's, something repeatable, right? Because like if someone has, $1 million machine shop, for example, they have a lot more ability to make stuff than, someone that only has a credit card, for example. Right. So there needs to be some leveling of the game to, it can't be like Formula One to where whoever has the deepest pockets is the one that's going to win. Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I love where you guys are, looking at these things. I love that you guys are looking at these things. I love the direction you guys are going in right now. But I do have a question.
Yeah.
And something that's really flustered me with the rules. This is just the one thing I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
Is in class 1, so much attention's given to keeping the truck scale, which is great. I think for class 1, that's where it should be.
Yeah.
But within that class, how could a scale truck have a forward skid?
It's okay. So do you want?
Where did that come from, and is that being looked at?
I'm going to answer this. I'm going to answer it in the sense that the skid thing has nothing to do with scale realism, right? It's impossible to define a location of a legal skid, right? Because the rule can be broken, right? So I just want you to think of it from a rule writing standpoint now, right? Don't like eliminate everything in your head about realism and all that stuff, right? Just from a straight rule writing standpoint. And then this will make it make sense to you. So if you have, we'll call it a skid plate, right? So that's inherent issue number one. Now, what is a skid plate, right? Can I put a skid plate on the bottom of my axle and say that's my skid, right? Can I put a skid plate on the roof of my truck and say that's a skid? So, just to define what a skid plate is could easily take up half a page, maybe a page of words, right? So problem number one, right? Problem number two is to locate a skid forward and backwards in a truck. You could really only do it. The best way to do it would be by mandating a minimum front lower link length, right? So you can say that it's required that you need a 95 millimeter eye-to-eye lower link, right? So when you get that, a 95 millimeter, so now you said, okay, the skid, that's mandatory, right? That still doesn't stop someone from placing a skid between the rear shock towers and saying, that's my skid plate, all right? So then you say the skid has to be on the lowest point of the car, right? Mm-hmm. Someone's going to come and argue, okay, so the lowest point of my car is over here by my front bumper, right? These are just hypotheticals. So everything works as a way to, it's very hard to kind of get a box, of where the skid has to be. And then the one example, like I have to go get it, right? If you will give me a second.
All right.
I have to go to the other side.
Dude is so organized. Holy crap.
Dude, I mean, look at all those bins on the shelves. We're all like,
I know. Now I'm like sitting here like, man, apparently I need to go buy a bunch of bins and organize my room.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look, well, I threw a video up a few days ago of my workbench, and yeah, it's good. Right. It's the opposite of that.
So this truck right here broke every single thing that we can come up with for a skid, right? So if you look, it's a single pivot, right? So can you say it is flat or is it angled? Seems flat to me because it's parallel between the front lowers and the rear lowers because they mount on the same bolt hole, right? If you want to say the skid can't be, then you can mandate, angle of the skid. Okay, so here my skid is flat, right? And it's now centered, right? So if you say that the skid must be centered, the skid is now centered. So it was almost like no matter what we were able to come up with,
yeah,
right? We couldn't get there because there's some way to break the rule, right? So unless you're going to basically say you have to run this, right? Like you have to run this specific chassis that we've approved, which we're trying to get away from, just like the tire thing. There was no way to actually put words together that didn't take 10 pages that would give you, a skid in a certain location and accomplish what you want. So.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not buying it, but okay.
It's hard to describe, but
it'd be very easy to do, but okay.
Well, give me an example.
Oh, well, I mean, I can. I get it. Yeah, we all know what a skid is. We all know where the skid's located. If the skid's flat,
yeah,
your lower links are going to connect to your skid in class. I'm talking class 1 only.
Yeah.
But your front rear links are going to connect to the skid at the lowest point. So your skid's at the lowest point, and then you've got your axle line. So, you've got a wheelbase that you can't go beyond, and all you got to do then is center the skid between the center line of both axles. So, and there could be a degree of variance where they could go forward just a little bit or whatever but it would be real easy just to say, okay, center line of axle, identify what the skid is, which is very easy. And then, they can shift it forward or backwards. You can take an SCX-10 2, SCX-10 3. I'm just thinking that class 1 should be, very scale, and it should be a class where it's the only, you could already go forward skid in class 2. You could already go forward skid in class 3. There should be one class that should be fairly stock, sort of. And class 1 is the only place that really that's left to say, okay, that's got to be center skid and flat.
So the issue with that, though, is you made a bunch of assumptions in there that if you're running locally, right, you guys can all agree on a thing. Like, I've made this argument before when someone's brought up the Utah rules, right? And the Utah rules don't work because there's not a lot of words to them. The Utah rules work because the entire group understands what the rules are, what you're expected to do, right? So your first thing you said, everyone knows what a skid is, right? What if I don't know what a skid is? Just playing devil's advocate here, right? And when you get to that top level of competition, someone's going to try to basically play dumb in a way to gain an advantage. So you can't just say, oh, you know what a skid is, so you can't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so just like your sketches that are in here, you can do a simple sketch and say, for the dummies that don't understand what a skid is, this is what a skid is.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, right. But it's right. So we say a skid must be, I'll give you even insight into like where we were in this discussion, right?
Yeah.
A skid the lower links must bolt to the skid, right? Step 1, right? Lower links must bolt to the skid, right?
Right.
The lower links or the skid must have minimum dimensions of 65 millimeters by like 30 millimeters. I don't remember what the actual numbers are, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Let's say minimum dimensions of 65 by 35, right? Or whatever it is, 65 by 30, 65 by 20, doesn't matter, right?
Okay. Yeah, that would work though. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The skid has to be, this thick, 7 millimeters thick, right? So we've got all these criteria so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
That still doesn't stop the truck that I just showed, right? Because you make the extension part of the skid to meet the dimensions not have anything to do with where it contacts the rock, right?
Yeah, but if the skid on that truck was this long, we're just saying we just limited.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. Yeah, but you could still have the skid on that truck was that long, like you said, but I'm just using it as an example to show that this now skid is way above what those minimum dimensions are that we just said.
Yeah.
But it still does, visually, it's nothing like what you're expecting to see, right? When you give just those dimensions, right? So that's number 1. And then it's to locate it, the middle of the truck locating is hard to tech in a way. It's not hard, but it's a time consuming thing to tech, because then you need to measure, a full truck, do the math, divide it by 2, kind of blah, 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 right? So the easier way to tech it would be to say the lower link must be longer than this length. Then you can just make a tool, like a C shape that's that long, and you just hold it onto it and you can check, right?
Gotcha.
So everything kind of revolves around what can be explained clearly and what can be teched and enforced.
Right,
also.
right.
So, and it's when you get the upper levels, like I said at the beginning, the rules are intended to be used for, the top levels of competition. When you get to that there, you now have someone that will spend their entire year trying to figure out how to break your rule. Right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, but that's easy to fix. You just tell that guy, pack your bags and go home.
yeah.
You don't worry about the one idiot versus the 100 other guys that are all like, yeah, this is what we want. This is what's cool.
The problem is like the SORRCA group itself on Facebook has 10,000 people, I think. So, 1% still 100 people.
Yeah, they'll get over it.
Yeah. So, but it's more, you have to make rules that you can feel at least comfortable that can't be broken easily. So.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's my piece. I just, that one frustrates the heck out of me. But anyway, that's just me.
Yeah, I get it, but it's also it's one of those things where let's just say tomorrow a rule comes that says all trucks have to be center skid, right? Just for argument's sake.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the blowback that I personally would get from every small manufacturer that has, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of inventory that they can no longer sell?
Yeah, we're only talking about one class.
Yeah, but every manufacturer has a class 1 specific chassis. Like, you know what I mean? It's not that it can't be used for something else anymore. It's now trash.
Yeah. Well, they got a year to get it right.
Yeah. So.
Shut up.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know how much inventory you keep, but if I were to make a rule tomorrow that says, oh yeah, all class 1 trucks need to be this, and your chassis didn't meet that, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's only one class, and then that did happen. They changed the rule on the roof racks; it had to be a certain thickness. So yeah, we've got an inventory of roof racks. So when SORRCA changed the rules, Rock Pirates had to put a note on our webpage that said that may not meet SORRCA rules. Yeah. So but they still sell. It's still a part we still make today. So it is what it is. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next one is we're also working on what we're calling class 0. So
okay.
That will be like your super scale class.
Like a C channel class?
I actually don't know, because we have like a little subcommittee that's working on it, and I haven't seen, but it's going to be small tires, full tire coverage or close to full tire coverage, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So.
I
Yeah.
think stock C channel. I'm dying for what competition like that.
That would be fun.
But
yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. The one guy really doesn't like me.
What are you saying, Nabil?
I said the one guy really doesn't like me.
No. Yeah. I know I'm going back and forth with you on this a little bit. Don't take this wrong whatsoever.
No,
I love where you're going with things, and that you're looking at things, and you're actually I'm 100% behind you, so don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's the hard, I don't think people realize, if you have a group of 50 people, right, it's very easy to get all 50 people on the same page, and you virtually need 0 rules, right? But when you have something that's just going out as a PDF document, right, it needs to be very clear and almost overly explained, right? And then that ends up coming off as overly restrictive even, right? Because it's easy to understand context when you're talking to someone. Right. It's very hard to understand context and intent when you're just reading it on a piece of paper.
Correct. Right.
So that's why, you know what I mean? If you told me a skid plate, right? I know what a skid plate is, right? But if you also tell me the truck requires a skid in the center, and that's all you told me, there's 5 ways I can break that rule and still gain the advantage I want without, while still meeting that requirement. Mm-hmm. So that's the bigger thing. It's, being simple works when it's more close knit. When it's up for interpretation and you have people just reading and coming from everywhere, you don't have that ability to be simple. You know what I mean? Like that's the unfortunate side effect. Mm-hmm. So like one thing we did try to do with this rule release is each class now has its own specific rule book, right? Yeah. So, right. It's much easier instead of having to get the whole rule book and, we had like a general section, then we had class specific rules and all that stuff. You now can just get, a class 1 rule book, and I counted class 1. It's the most complicated class or the most restrictive class, right? Out of all of them. It's including pictures, 11 pages. Without pictures, it's 6 pages. So
gotcha. Yeah.
It's really not much, right? It's very quick to get through, right? Class 2 is even shorter. Class 3 is even shorter, right? It's organized where I think we organized it well, where it's easy to kind of follow step by step. Mm-hmm. So I think it works. I would love feedback from people on it, right? Because it's my goal is to make it even better next time and make it better the next time, right? It's like I said earlier, if you don't kind of improve, if you're not improving, you're kind of failing. So we're going to try to keep improving it. One of our goals is to not have any changes, right? But we want to improve just in how we present it and we make it understandable, right? Mm-hmm. I've been thinking about how I can do like a video build series where someone can follow along how to build a C2, of class 2. Right. It's, I have lots of ideas in my head, just not enough time to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, videos are huge. I know they help us out a lot, and people that use rock pirate builds. But the videos make a huge difference. So something like that, you're right. It would come in handy for people wanting to build a SORRCA build.
Yeah, that's kind of I've reached out to like a couple people already. Like I still have more people that I want to reach out to, but it was kind of. The deal I made is if they want to do a build, I'll be the one. They'll have full access to me on how to do it. So,
cool.
Yeah, I'll make you guys the same offer if you want to do it. You have full access to me for any questions. So if you want to turn it into a piece of content, it kind of helps both of us. So
I'll just buy all the parts and send them to you. Can I do that?
No. No.
There's another bucket of parts.
No, that's not going to happen.
Right on. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Did we get those the link to how to get to the SORRCA, the new SORRCA rule set?
He's going to send it to us later.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, let me see if I can pull it up now quickly. I feel like the Google Drive link might be broken because I just logged into the account and Google's given me a notification.
Okay, well, he's working on that, everybody. So tonight's giveaway, we'll get to that in just a minute, is a Rum Runner shirt. All right. And whoever wins it, all you got to do is get it. Well, we'll go over that at the end here, but email us and then we'll ship it right out to you. We'll need your size, and if you want white or black, if we have what you want, we'll send it to you. If not, it might be white, even if you ask for black. It just depends on what's in our inventory.
All right. Yeah, so everyone, I got 50 entries and there's 59 people. So if you haven't made a comment in the chat, just throw something random in there. We'll wait about a minute. So 8:21 our time, so 1 minute. And then we'll get this raffle going, and then we'll wrap things up over here. So Scott's over there saying a bunch of jokes in the chat, so I had to tell him no.
Well, Scott enjoys competing SORRCA rules. So yeah, he's a SORRCA guy. No, he does come out and play with us all the time too.
And he competes everywhere. Yeah. So all right, it's 8:21. Let me share my screen real quick. We'll get this raffle going. All right, there we go. So we got 57 people, 61 entries. That's all right. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and run it. No team drivers on this one, and ready, set, go. Oh, go. Oh, Patrick Birdle.
There you go. Perfect.
All right. Congratulations, buddy.
Congratulations, and send us an email, rockpartsrc@gmail.com.
And we'll get that sent out to you. Congrats, buddy.
Color, size, and your address.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody earlier was saying, "Oh, you guys should do a SORRCA video and then, or SORRCA build and do a video." And honestly, it'd be a pretty good idea, because I think, well, if you sit there and read the SORRCA rulebook, you're like, "Damn, dude, this is gonna be rough." And then you see like an actual SORRCA truck like already out there and stuff, and it is a lot simpler than the rule books. I
think the rules were very intimidating, right?
Yeah.
So I think we did a lot to make them less intimidating, right? So I think a lot of it was people downloaded the PDF, looked at it once, and said, "Nope, I'm done with this," right? Just based off sheer size alone.
Well, I can't read.
Yeah. So it's like I said, I sent a link in like the private chat. It's just to the SORRCA Facebook group.
Oh, okay.
Everything is.
Okay.
And it looks like Google blocked my account, that Google Drive account. So I have to figure that out. It's too much traffic to it or something. I don't know what the deal is.
Gotcha.
Okay, so for those of you, I mean, I'm gonna post it into the. I'm going to copy and paste it. I think I'll post it into the comment section below on this video once it gets posted up. So, but there it is for now. And then, but yeah, I'll get that over at the bottom of the description once this video gets posted.
We're gonna answer this last question, and then we'll.
I like that one.
We're gonna start saying goodbye. Travis said, "Is SORRCA still allowing skeletons for the driver?" I'm assuming he's talking about either the actual skeletons or like the little pipe cleaner people.
Well, so pipe cleaner people were never allowed. It's people would put clothes on them.
Yeah.
I think I'm partially responsible. I think I'm partially responsible for that one too. Yeah. But yeah, basically it kind of came down to like, this was one of those that it's just the pipe cleaner people, and then you just glue some fabric together as a shirt and pants, and you put a head on it and you call it done, right? And it weighs 9 grams. So the skeletons that were popular, right, they were previously banned because they were not human-like, but then it was just kind of, if the pipe cleaners are allowed, allow the skeletons. And then the solution to, balance it out or make it more negligible, because when you receive scale points, which are like your bonuses taken off your score, it should be because what you're doing is a disadvantage, right? So you're making the truck in theory worse. So if you're adding 9 grams, before it was 4 points you would get, right? And now we just dropped them, we cut it in half. So it's 2 points for a driver. So it's it helps people get to the maximum, but without actually like being a huge chunk, because 4 points is a lot for 10 grams of disadvantage.
Gotcha.
So.
Oh. Right on. Well,
all right, there we go. Got it.
So, but yeah, that's the gist of it. I saw one that Organized Chaos said, in the rules, there's diagrams right, that have basically pictures and kind of your reference points of, where things need to be. So it's referred to as the rectangle, but the way to think of it is if your truck is bigger than what's shown in the picture, you're legal. So it's essentially an example truck on display somewhere with notes and dimensions and specs. It's 3 pages of diagrams. You have a top view, a side view, and a front view that basically shows how the truck needs to be shaped. So, and then it should have, I think from that, you should be able to build most of the truck just from the 3 pictures. But yeah.
Oh, shoot. I'm just laughing at some of the comments. But anyway.
Yeah, they just got kicked out. Christian just kicked him out. If you're that serious, we all love RC stuff here. If you're that serious where you're in the comments just sitting there just spewing a bunch of crap and stuff, just get out of here, dude. Like, come on, man. Like, there's no we're grown men playing with
agree
RC
on
cars.
everything, but we still love the hobby and want to keep it growing. That's the most important thing.
Good lord, we're grown men playing with RC cars. Like, if you're taking it that serious, like, get out.
That's like with that. Like, I think people think of SORRCA as like this giant evil corporation, and we're not. Like, there's 13 of us, right? Like, we're kind of spread across the country. Every one of us is in the hobby. We all were competitors. We all started competing, right? Mm-hmm. And it's, as other people got tired or, they couldn't do it anymore, for life reasons or whatever, they open applications and we basically applied as volunteers to, fill those spots and just kind of keep it going, right? Every single person that's on the board, it's, there's some people that have been in the hobby for, 10 plus years, like myself. And there's some people that, are joined the hobby post-COVID, and we all try to work together with each other to kind of find a compromise for everything, right? There's things I don't like in the rules, right? And I'm sure there's things I like in the rules that other people on the board don't like in the rules, right? But you have to kind of come together with, you have to kind of work together. And strategically, we tried to place people in different areas. Like there's 2 Southern California people, there's a Washington person, there's a couple in Tennessee, there's a couple in Colorado, there's a couple in the Northeast. So we all kind of there's one in Arizona. So we all kind of have an eye on what like the little regions are doing. So then we can kind of discuss these things amongst each other and try to figure out how to make it better while still kind of being, fair in a way, right? And it has to be fair, like, because I just Connor and Christian probably know me better than Steve does, but it's like I go to competitions because I like competing. I want to win, right? I don't go to competitions because I want to host the event. I don't enjoy this stuff, right? But if I don't do it, and if these people don't do it, who will, right? And then it ends up, the whole thing falls apart, and then everyone loses from it. So, right, I can't go compete, this weekend if WRCCA wasn't a thing, right?
Right. Yeah,
and if I'm not actively, hosting this event this weekend, this doesn't happen. And then I can't go compete. So I have to do these things, and we all do these things because we're trying to give people a place to compete, to play, to build trucks for, to something to strive for, right? And I don't know, I think it's very easy to get upset, like the one guy, right? It's the guy I made the joke of. I said, this one guy really doesn't like me. He's been going off all night, right? But it's very easy to get upset because your, truck you built together because you think looks cool, right, doesn't fit in a rule set, right? But that's not the game we're playing in a way, right? It's like yeah, I can't go take, like if I wanted to go play baseball, I have to follow the rules of baseball, right? And we're not saying that like SORRCA is the end all be all, like you have to follow this or just not play, right? We're trying to give you a rule set, right? And we work for the entire year to put together this rule set. We've released it on the 1st of January, which I think is the first time in history that a SORRCA release has been on time, right?
That's
So
good.
I think that is a big win for us. I think it's the first time that there's only been one direct threat related to the release of the rules.
Gee, you almost got a second one until I kicked him out.
Yeah, no, that guy, I guarantee you, he's gonna find me somewhere. I'm gonna be like the grocery store, and he's gonna. So, yeah, it's just, we're all people. We're all trying to do what we can to make the hobby better. Sometimes we don't get it right. Sometimes we try our best and we try to get it right. And I'm always open for feedback, right? I know all three of you, I went up to you at Proline by the Fire and I told you, this is what I want to do for this coming year, right? Yeah. How do you guys feel about this? And the main reason I went to Proline by the Fire this year was to talk with manufacturers like you guys, because I want to figure out what people want, right? Yeah. And I can't go throw out the entire thing and, just say, okay, bring me a truck, this, and we're done, right? It doesn't work like that, because then someone's going to break the rules and we're going to have to add something else, and someone's going to, and then so we have a good base. We have, I think, a strong rule set now, right? And it's just a matter of, regaining people's trust, because it's clear that a lot of people have a negative viewpoint on SORRCA, right? I came in like 2 years ago. I like to think we're trending in the correct direction, right? So as long as we can keep trending in the correct direction, I hope that everyone that's here, I can bring you to an event. You can come see it for yourself, experience it, and enjoy it like all of us do. So,
yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I think we should start wrapping this here up. We're about 33 minutes over, which I figured would probably happen because it's a lot to talk about, and we could keep going for another hour and a half or longer if we wanted to.
I got some Mark Raiders to play tonight, so we got.
So yeah, Nabil, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks. I know you came into this knowing that a lot of the comments in here might not be some of your SORRCA's biggest fans and stuff, but we appreciate you coming in here, kind of breaking things down, explaining things, and just having a good conversation with us. I know, especially from seeing the comments, a lot of people learned a lot tonight, and so I think this is really good. I appreciate you coming on here, man, and taking your time out of your day to come do this with us.
Yeah, of course. It's like I said, it's kind of this is how things need to be done. I need to regain people's trust with SORRCA.
You're gonna have to work on that nitro guy a little bit more, but
some people might be a lost cause.
Yeah. So thanks again, Nabil, for stopping in tonight and taking time out of your busy schedule to be able to explain to us and the people watching about the new rule set and everything. I'll probably just build a truck so that way I can get out there and compete with you and let you kick my ass every single time I go out. But thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. Really greatly appreciate all your guys' comments and tuning in. So looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks again, Nabil.
Yeah. Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming in. We really appreciate it. The show would be nothing without the side comments and everybody participating in the chat. Thanks, guys. And Nabil, I know you knew you were sort of going to be a little bit in the hot seat tonight, and I really appreciate your maturity, the way you handled it, and the answers you provided, and really appreciate it. And thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
So So with that, alrighty, guys, thanks again for stopping in this first episode of Pirate Talk for 2026. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Cheers, everyone.
Good night.
See you guys.